Welcome all of you in the series of lecture Bonding in the Molecule. This is the second lecture is on the valence bond theory. Myself Jnaneshwar Shinde from Department of Chemistry, Professor Ramkrishna More College Akurdi. Once again, welcome all of you. In this lecture, we will learn the assumptions of valence bond theory. What are the assumptions? And on the assumption, we have to explain the bonding in the molecule. The second thing, orbital overlap to form sigma and pi bond. How the sigma and pi bonds are formed. And bonding in some of the molecules. We should have example to explain the valence bond theory, and on the basis of the example we will prove the valence bond theory. Okay, so these are the three main parts to learn. What are these three main parts? Assumptions of the valence bond theory. What is the basis of the valence bond theory? The second thing, that the how sigma and pi bonds are formed in the molecule. The third thing, we will explain example to explain in detail valence bond theory. To overcome limitations of Lewis concept, valence bond theory and the concept of hybridization was put forth. So in the first lecture already we have seen the octet rule or the Lewis concept is not able to explain the forces of attraction in the molecule. Then the second thing, the geometries of the molecule. To overcome these limitations of the Lewis concept, the valence bond theory was put forth. So what are the assumptions of the valence bond theory? What is assume? What is the basis on which the we will explain formation of the molecule? Very first assumption of the valence bond theory is that valence shell orbital of atom in the molecule overlap with each other to form the bond. Okay, so the very first and important assumption is that the valence shell orbitals of atom are involved in the bonding. Particularly, half-filled orbitals overlap with each other to form the bond. This is the very first and important assumption. Once again I will repeat. The valence shell orbital of the atom are involved in the formation of the bonds, and they should be half-filled. The second assumption, number of bonds formed are equal to number of half-filled orbital in an atom. Each atom in the molecule form definite number of bonds. So that is governed by the number of half-filled orbitals in an atom. This is the important thing. Okay, number of bonds are associated with number of half-filled orbitals. The third assumption related to the formation of the sigma and pi bond. Okay, the sigma bond is formed by linear or axial overlap of orbital, while the lateral or sidewise overlap orbital form the pi bond. Okay, so there are two types of bond that can be formed in the molecule, sigma bond and pi bond. In detail, later on we will see how the sigma and pi bond is formed. The important characteristic is that sigma bond is stronger than pi bond, and the pi bond is not formed without formation of the sigma bond. Okay, if there is a sigma bond, pi bond can be formed. Okay, So there is no existence of only pi bond, but only sigma bond can be formed. Okay, so sigma bond is formed independently, pi bond is formed after the formation of sigma bond or in presence of sigma bond. This is the fourth and the important assumption of the valence bond theory. Then orbital overlap with each other with same sign of wave function. Orbital may have negative and the positive wave function. So for the formation of bond, positive wave function of one orbital overlap with positive wave function of another orbital, or negative wave function of one orbital overlap with negative wave function of another orbital. So there is positive overlap or negative overlap. The next, force of attraction is due to orbital overlap. When orbital overlap each other, two atoms attract each other, and this gives rise the force of attraction between the atoms, and this is the important assumption of the valence bond theory. So the next, geometry of the molecule. Geometry of the molecule can be explained on the basis of hybridization of atomic orbital. Okay, atomic orbital undergoes hybridization, and this concept we will explain in the next lecture. But if you see the valence bond theory, these are the important assumptions, and on the basis of these important assumptions, we can explain formation of the number of molecules. Okay, first of all we will explain the concept what is meant by axial orbital overlap and the sidewise or the lateral overlap of the orbital. So here we have the example of the s orbital. We have this is one s orbital of one atom, another s orbital, and they overlap with each other. This is the internuclear axis. Okay, and if you see overlap of orbital is along the internuclear axis. Internuclear axis means what? The axis which joins the two nuclei of the atom, and overlap is at the center of these two nuclei along the axis. This is called as a axial overlap. Okay, so sidewise overlap. So the next example, the pz orbitals can also give rise the axial overlap. So we have these two pz orbital, one pz orbital and another pz orbital, and these pz orbitals can give rise the axial overlap. Thus here you can see the overlap is between the two atomic nuclei. This is one atomic nucleus, this is another atomic nucleus, and this is the internuclear axis joining the nuclei. So if you see an atomic orbital, overlap is along the axis and between the two atomic nuclei, and this is the again axial overlap. So 2s orbital or two pz orbital or 1s and 1 pz orbital can give rise axial overlap, and we get the formation of the bond. So axial overlap is the linear overlap, and it gives rise formation of the sigma bond. Now one of the things you have to remember very well, why we have considered the pz orbital. The According to IUPAC convention, the z-axis is internuclear axis. Though we have shown horizontally, it is the z-axis, and always you have to remember that z-axis is the internuclear axis. In some of the books, x-axis is considered as the internuclear axis, but it is against the IUPAC convention. So Sidewise overlap of orbital. We have seen the linear overlap or the axial overlap. Now sidewise overlap. Okay. So here you can see the py orbital. It is perpendicular to the internuclear axis. So another py orbital, it is again perpendicular to the internuclear axis, and we get the sidewise overlap. So if you see, the overlapping region is in this part and in this part. Positive overlap on one side, negative overlap on another side. It is not along the internuclear axis. It is outside the internuclear axis. This is the internuclear axis, and if you see overlap is on the two sides of internuclear axis, and this overlap is called as a sidewise overlap or the lateral overlap. And sidewise or lateral overlap gives rise formation of the pi bond. Okay, as overlap is lateral, sidewise the overlap is a weak one, and hence the pi bond is weak than the sigma bond. So in this slide we have seen the axial overlap, S orbital, PZ orbital. This gives rise the linear or the axial overlap. Likely S orbital and PZ orbital can also give rise the linear or the axial overlap, while py orbital or the px orbital, they are perpendicular to the internuclear axis. Orientation is perpendicular to the internuclear axis, and both of these orbital gives rise sidewise overlap, and this overlap forms the pi bond. Okay, so we have assumptions of valence bond theory, and we have seen the axial and the lateral or the sidewise overlap. Now we'll explain some formation of some of the molecule, and very first and simple molecule that we'll explain is the formation of hydrogen molecule on the basis of valence bond theory. So if you see hydrogen atom, atomic number is 1, electronic configuration is 1s1. What it means? There is only 1s orbital in the hydrogen atom, and it is half filled. It means that half filled 1s orbital of hydrogen atom will take part in bonding. Okay, so it is clear to all. 1s orbital in the hydrogen atom, it is half filled, and as it is half filled, it will take part in a bonding. Okay, so how the bond formation will take place? Half filled 1s orbital of one hydrogen atom will overlap with half filled 1s orbital of another hydrogen atom, and we get the formation of hydrogen sigma bond, since this overlap is along the internuclear axis. You can see in this diagram. Okay, so we have this first hydrogen atom, we have this second hydrogen atom, that is 1s orbital of the hydrogen atoms. They overlap along the internuclear axis. This is the overlapping region between the two atoms, and the overlap is along the internuclear axis, and hence we get the H-H sigma bond in the hydrogen molecule. Okay, so the very simplest example, what we have in hydrogen molecule, hydrogen sigma bond. And now the structure, the valence bond theory is able to explain the structure or the geometry of the molecule. So two hydrogen atom, and ultimately the structure is linear. Okay, so very simple to understand, and very first molecule that will explain is the hydrogen molecule. Okay, now we'll go to the next diatomic molecule. that is the formation of O2 molecule, oxygen gas molecule. Okay, so what is the case? So ultimately we have to consider electronic configuration of oxygen atom. It is 1s2, 2s2, 2px2, 2py1, 2pz1. There are three p orbital px, py and pz, and what we have considered, the px is full filled, py and pz are half filled. So what it means? Py and pz orbitals are half filled. Hence, these two orbitals will take part in the bonding. Okay, pz and the py orbital are half filled and they will take part in the bonding. So already we have considered that pz orbitals are oriented along the internuclear axis. So we have formation of the sigma bond in oxygen molecule and how it will take place. pz orbital of one oxygen atom will overlap with pz orbital of another oxygen atom. Okay, this overlap is along internuclear axis and hence we get formation of oxygen sigma bond. Okay, so diagrammatically I have represented here. This is half filled pz orbital of one oxygen atom. This is half filled orbital of another oxygen atom, and we get the overlap of two pz orbital along the internuclear axis. This is the internuclear axis, and if you see along this internuclear axis, two orbital overlap is there in between two atomic nuclei. This is one atomic nucleus, this is another atomic nucleus, and overlapping region is between these two atomic nuclei, and hence we get pz orbital overlap and it forms the sigma bond. In the earlier slide, we have seen the overlap of pz orbital in oxygen atom to form the sigma bond. Now, another orbital which is half filled is the py orbital. So, the py orbital of one oxygen atom overlap with py orbital of another oxygen atom, and this overlap is lateral, okay, away from or the at the sides of internuclear axis, so it will form the pi bond. So you can see diagrammatically, this is one py orbital which is half filled, this is another py orbital, and if you see now in this diagram, okay, this is the internuclear axis joining two nuclei, and overlap is at the two sides of internuclear axis, but it is in between the two atomic nuclei. So this is the sidewise overlap of py orbital which will form the pi bond in the oxygen atom. Okay, so we have the formation of sigma and pi bond, and if you see in this diagram, it is shown the total overlap systematically. Okay, so we have the pz orbital of one atom, pz orbital of another atom, and they overlap along internuclear axis to form the sigma bond. The half filled py orbital of one oxygen atom, half filled py orbital of another oxygen atom, and they form the sidewise overlap, lateral overlap, and this lateral overlap between these two atomic orbital will form the pi bond in the oxygen. So oxygen we have formation of double bond. One is sigma and one is the pi bond. So now what are the limitations? So we have taken only two examples, oxygen atom and the hydrogen atom. such a many examples can be taken to explain the formation of the molecule, such as a nitrogen atom you can take. You can explain formation of nitrogen atom, you can formation of HF atom, formation of CO, and such a many molecules can be explained on the basis of valence bond theory. Okay, you know the strategy. What is the strategy for oxygen atom? What is the strategy for hydrogen atom? And if any example can be given, you can use the same strategy and you can explain the formation of the molecule on the basis of valence bond theory. But now the question arises, the limitation of the simple valence bond theory. You cannot explain the geometries of many molecules. Okay, what are the geometries? If you see in the BF3, trigonal planar geometry, CH4, tetrahedral geometry, PCl5, trigonal bipyramidal geometry, if you see likely SF6, octahedral geometry. Such a many examples are there. They have the different geometries, and on the basis of simple assumptions, only orbital overlap of a pure atomic orbital, geometries of this molecule cannot be explained. Now why? If you see the pure atomic orbital, they have 90-degree angle. Okay, so Px, Py and Pz, these orbital have 90-degree angle between them. While if you see in the example BF3, bond angle is 120 degree. Likely CH4, Px, Py, Pz orbitals, they lie 90 degree to each other. Why? In CH4, bond angle is 109 degree, 28 minutes. Okay, so on the basis of orbital overlap of pure atomic orbital, you cannot explain the bond angles and the geometries of many molecules. This is the limitation, and you can see the structure of some of the molecule. Trigonal bipyramidal geometry for the BF3 molecule, tetrahedral geometry for the CH4 molecule, trigonal planar geometry, trigonal bipyramidal geometry for the PCl5 molecule. Okay, so the simple valence bond theory do not explain the structures of these molecule. So what is done? The extension of valence bond theory is done, and the concept of hybridization is introduced in the valence bond theory. And with the help of the hybridization of atomic orbital, instead of using pure atomic orbital, the hybrid atomic orbitals are formed, and they are used for the formation of the molecule. On the basis of the concept of hybridization, we can explain the structure of each and every molecule. So thus in this lecture we have seen the assumptions of valence bond theory, formation of sigma and pi bond on the basis of the linear overlap or axial overlap and the sidewise or lateral overlap. Then we have seen the formation of sigma and the formation of hydrogen molecule and formation of oxygen molecule on the basis of orbital overlap. But we have explained again that the simple valence bond theory is not able to explain the geometries of some of the molecule. Hence, extension of valence bond theory with the inclusion of the concept of hybridization is done, and we will see the hybridization, concept of hybridization and the geometries of the molecule on the basis of the concept of hybridization. Thank you all for listening patiently.